All right, hey everyone, this is Bill Dean with Bill Dean Hacks, and today I have a special treat. I'm here with Eric Guy, someone I had the good fortune of running into multiple times actually at Funnel Hacking Live 2021.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
thanks for joining me today. It's kind of informal breakdown of FHL 2021. Um, but just to kind of catch up everyone, Eric is a weight loss coach. Didn't start out that way. Wasn't planning to do that. But that's where he is now. And like I said, we connected. I guess we're both funnel hackers and looking into how to market online. And he's joining us today out of California. So, Eric, how you
Yes.
doing?
I'm pretty good, man. I'm glad to get the invite. Excited to be here, and yeah, super excited about Phone Hacking Live. That event was pretty good, pretty good.
Well, how long did it take for you to come off of the excitement and just the how pumped up you were at the end?
Uh, it took a while, man. Actually, I'm still talking about it. I'm still talking about it. I just actually got off a call this morning with another guy I met there. His name is Cody, and he we did like a little interview thing this morning. So we're still talking about it, still raving about it, and we both joined the 2CC coaching program.
Excellent.
So that was cool to kind of connect on that.
All right. Well, yeah, that was a phenomenal offer, and I'm excited to see your success through that because that's it finally took his top tier, not even his top tier, his third down, but his big
Hmm.
offer, the inner circle, and made it a little more accessible.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, man. Especially with the payment program and things like that. I'm tired of dabbling. So, well, not really dabbling. I'm just tired of failing, trying and failing, trying and failing, consistently. So,
Yeah, the tuition side of things. You'd rather speed it up and get to the success side of it.
yeah, yeah. Because I mean, hey, the online world is completely different from in person, and that's where I've been for the past 5 6 years. So, um, just trying to manage everything. It's a whirlwind. But yeah, that's what made me decide to join the coaching. Just I'm tired of trying this and trying that and trying this. I'd rather just do a proven system and have that support and accountability on my way to where I want to be. So
Yeah, that's awesome. That's truly the difference between those who in my circles that I run around, like those with accountability, always are the top performers. Like
right,
you can only
right.
get so far on your own energy and your own charisma, but at the end of the day, it's like we don't have to reinvent much of anything anymore. It's
Hmm.
the systems know. Like, so did you go through uh, Golden, Myron Golden's class there?
I did his little when they did the breakout rooms.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely went to Myron Golden for sure. Because the sales is something that I'm trying to develop right now because I'm gonna start. Well, let me start from. Let me just tell you guys who
Go
I
for
am.
it. Let's
And then
ready.
so my name's Eric Guy. I grew up in Fresno, California. I was born and raised. I started playing football when I was 8 years old, and I traveled up and down California, going to different football camps and things like that. So that's kind of where I started with my journey in athletics and things like that. And then I played in high school, did pretty well there, got a scholarship, ended up playing in Arkansas, and that is where I really found out where I wanted what I wanted to do. And what it was, I was watching the Olympics and I saw Usain Bolt run a nine. I forgot what it. I think it was a 9.6 100 yard dash. Um, 100-meter dash, and I was like, I was mind blown because I was, how does a human move that fast? Right? That is
Yeah,
what I was thinking. I said, you know what? I'm gonna train athletes, and that was the moment where I kind of like knew exactly what I wanted to do.
awesome.
So I ended up getting my bachelor's and my master's degree in kinesiology with the emphasis in exercise science, and I was sold on working with athletes. So from there, I thought I did all the right things. I graduated 3.5 GPA. I taught biomechanics at my university for 2 years during my master's program. I traveled with the the USA team to Taiwan. I was there for 3 weeks with them.
Wow.
And, I thought I had the resume, but once I graduated, I started looking for jobs as assistant football coach, assistant strength coach, just all of these different things at the collegiate level. I thought I had the resume for it, but I could not get a job anywhere. I just couldn't. I couldn't find it. No one was contacting. Nobody was replying. So I finally got a call back from a coach at Texas A&M, and he said, "Hey, I just wanted to call you so you wouldn't be wasting any more of your time." And he said, "We hire internally." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
So I was kind of crushed, man. It kind of swept took the rug from under me because I thought I had it. I thought I did everything right. So that's when that's when I kind of pivoted and was like, you know what? I always knew I didn't want to work for anyone. I knew a desk job would kill me. So, but now it's just like, okay, what are you going to do? So that's when I got into personal training. So I've been doing that for about 6 years now. And it's all been in person. So when, like, probably 3 years ago, I was like, you know what, I need to get online. And that's when I found Russell Brunson.
All right.
So I got his books, .com Secrets. I read it, and I was super excited and hyped about it, and I never did anything.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I joined the community, so I was kind of getting indoctrinated into their philosophies and different things like that. And I ran into guys like Steven Larson and. And then I started following Kalen Pullen and those people. And when COVID hit, it completely shut my business down. Like overnight, it was done. Especially here in California, everything was just gone. So that's when I was really like, okay, I need to go online. I need to get online like ASAP.
Yeah.
And I developed a cleanse, and that's where kind of my online world started. And this was I released the cleanse at the beginning of this year, and I had some success with it. I had some great testimonials, but the issue was volume because it was a low ticket offer, and I understood the concept of a back end, but it wasn't, my back end wasn't converting. So it was just, it was a mess. So I started having some success. I didn't have the volume to keep the ads going and, all of these pieces. And I was just like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. So that's when I decided like, hey, I'm going to make my way to Funnel Hacking Live. I'm going to buckle down and really get into my who and how the operations and the systems and all of those things come into play. Because I've been a member of ClickFunnels. I've been using ClickFunnels for like 3 years, but I just never really knew what to do with it. Right?
Yep.
And I had a lot of like imposter syndrome. I had a lot of fears that kind of kept me from venturing out. But yeah, I've done the One Funnel Away challenge like 3 or 4 times. So
that one's the new one is so good. And one of the fun things about this is like we're using phrases like ClickFunnels, Russell Brunson, back end, and like it's gonna be fun to see who actually even connects with that and like knows what that is. I mean, to summarize for anyone who hasn't heard those terms is Eric's been great at getting people to buy a product from him. But if you really truly want to generate some actual income, you need them to come back. You need them to have other things they can buy to help keep the profits coming into your business, because you don't have to keep spending money to get them to purchase something.
Right. And you want them to ascend up your value ladder, right? You want to continue to serve them at a higher and higher level, but you want to build that trust, and you want them to know that, hey, I really can help you, right? Especially in the weight loss. There's so many different fads, so many different people call hacks, but I it's 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 really it's really basic. Weight loss is really basic. Calories in, calories out. That's what works. But
Hmm.
people just got to throw on the dressings, right? They try to, the keto diets and all of these different things. Yeah, they all work, but at the base of things, it's because you're burning more calories than you're consuming, so you're going to lose weight. But anyway, sorry to to expel all the secrets there, but
No, that's what this is about. I mean, we met because of funnel hacking. We're both using ClickFunnels to help generate our some business, to get our name out there.
right.
Because I started with ClickFunnels in 17.
Okay.
Because I had a coach who was like, "Hey, you should use this to put some landing pages out there for your real estate business. Like, what's my house worth?
Mhm.
That way I had control versus, I get a call every single day probably from an online marketing company like, "Hey, you're a realtor. We want to sell you this service or this service." And he's just like, "You can do this yourself." And it's like $97 a month or
Mhm.
more.
Mhm.
So I kind of did the same thing. I did that one funnel away. I put classes online and then was like, do I really know everything about real estate investing? Like, just second guessing myself. And I'm
Yeah.
like 7 years into real estate investing. And it's like,
Mhm.
should just shut up and put some money behind it.
Yeah, dude, and that fear was so real for me, man, because I follow all of these people, especially in my industry, who have the doctorates, they have the
Hmm.
PhDs, they have all of these things, they've written books, they're authors, they're all of this stuff, and it made me like really kind of doubt myself, like, man, all I have a master's degree, which is I'm like 15% of the U.S., right? Like with the master's
Yeah.
degree, people don't really go there, but yeah, that kind of and like Tony Robbins at the event, he was saying that's just fear, man. It's just
Yep.
it's just fear. So I just have to really get out of my own way because I know the stuff. I've helped people get to where they didn't believe they can get to. Like
That's
recently, I took my cousin through this transformation. He's lost 90 pounds in 10 months, and he's looking great. But now we're trying to fill his frame because he was really really heavy set all through high school, and it really kind of messed with his uh,
well, you could say confidence
confidence,
or
right? Confidence.
yeah.
And so for him, for me to watch him go through that transformation is really really it inspires me, even because now I see him coming out of a shell. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So and now he's has a little girlfriend and things like that, and I'm just like, yeah, man, that's dope. That's cool.
That's awesome. But that was, I mean, to reference Tony Robbins, which I think we could spend the whole conversation on just him alone. But I mean, it's so true that once you get over that fear and change your story, like it's the same him.
Yeah.
But his excuses that he was telling himself flipped, and all of a sudden he's like, he's a free man, same body, same vehicle for the rest of his life, but he's free inside of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
kudos. That's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. It's really, really, and that's what I want to do for people, man, with my company. I want them to know that their life is in their hands, and the way I approach that, for people who work with me one on one, I approach it from a psychological aspect because the actual working out is the easy part. The actual movement is the easy part. It's the psychology that people get caught up on and tripped up on because when you're working with me, when I was training in person, you're with me for maybe 3 to 5 hours out of an entire week, right? The rest
Yep.
of the time you're with yourself. And that's when people start to sabotage. I had one girl in particular every Monday, every single Monday, I'd see her and I was like, "Well, how'd the weekend go?" "Well, I did. I went out and I ate this and I did that," and that time is what destroys people's progress. It's just that, and what I've realized is that it's just psychological. It's
Mhm.
about your beliefs. It's about your identity. It's about all of these things. So my approach to training is, yeah, I can have you lift weights all day. I know the structures. I've gone to school for those things, how to transform your body, but to transform your mind to get to that body is something else.
You're giving me goosebumps.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's yet again. I'm reading Myron Golden's book, The Boss System.
Okay.
Oh, it's quick, but it's like so glorifyingly simple. But long story short, it's like the process has to work on you until you can work the process, and like you're describing it perfectly. That this has to catch up with what your body can do, and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
it's your ticket.
It does, man. And with weight loss in particular, or I call it fat loss. I don't really like weight loss because for me, fat loss is way different because it leaves people looking how they want to look as opposed to weight loss, losing weight. Uh, all of these factors, all of the diseases and sicknesses that come with being overweight, right?
Yep.
But what happens is you can lose weight and still be just as sick as you were when you were overweight because it's what matters is your body fat percentage, right? So the less body fat you have, the more healthy you are. But when people go from, that's why I kind of want to throw rocks at people who do the whole weight loss thing without lifting weights or gaining muscle, because to me they're just setting people up for failure. Because when you get older, the something that takes out older people 70 and up that are is falling kills that group of people at a really high rate because they break their hips, they can't move, they do this, they need knee replacements, all of these things, and then they can't get up, so they just slowly pass. But with weightlifting and building muscle, their stability is better. They can walk. There's less tripping. They can actually pick their feet up to do things. And so, anyway, that's for the long run. But
no, but that was. I mean, I never ever. I mean, I've been an athlete. I mean, I was a heavy kid. I mean, I hit 100 pounds in third grade, 200 pounds in seventh grade.
Wow.
And I mean, at my highest, I've been 280 something. And so I know that feeling of being a slow, heavy kid. But I've never thought about, weight loss is one thing, but controlling how you look during that process by using muscle, like I've never thought about that because, you can starve yourself and lose weight, you can dehydrate, but to shape how the skinny you is going to look, like that's, I never really thought about it like that. It's just,
yeah, man,
that's cool.
Yeah, thanks. And that's what I want to promote, man. It's not just weight loss. I don't want you to be a smaller version of the person you don't like. I want you to be a completely new person. I want you to have the curves. I want you to have the chest, the six pack, the muscles, the shoulders, whatever is appealing to you. That's what I want you to have. And you can only do that through strength training. It doesn't have to necessarily be weights. It can be calisthenics, body weight stuff. It's going to develop you. But yeah, my approach is mostly from a psychological aspect. And I got a lot of that stuff from Tony, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, absolutely. I mean, some of the things that were popping off in my head about my work, my relationships, just things, the stories in my head, like I've started that whole like, is that thought serving me? Like, how can I flip this? And, I have that little moment. I'm like, oh, yes. Like your attitude changes. It's like the same thing's happening, but your attitude about that thing changed. And now the whole thing is different.
Yeah. And, the first thing I do when people work with me one-on-one is, of course I get them going on the exercise stuff, but I ask them about their beliefs, and it's about bringing awareness to them because I've been following Tom Bilyeu. I love Tom Bilyeu's impact theory. It's amazing. But Tom Bilyeu, Tony Robbins, Dr. Joe Dispenza,
Yep.
all these people who really study the brain because I'm interested because I want to have impact. That's my thing. I want to have an impact on people's lives. I want to be able to, when I die, I want people to say, he helped me shift my focus onto what matters, or help me have a deeper relationship with so and so, or build the company, or give me the confidence to do whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But my thing is bringing awareness to the paradigms that they have, because a lot of people, they say from 0 to 7, we're just a sponge.
Yep.
We're just watching, we're just analyzing everything around us. Where how our parents talk to each other, how what happens at school, all of this stuff. We're just soaking it all in, and it builds our paradigms for us. We don't have the capacity to think about things, right? So we just go through life with these beliefs unknowingly,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they're really, if you think about it, everything around us, even school, is designed to keep us in a box, to only get us to let us believe that we can reach so high. And so that's one of the first things I do with my clients is like, hey, so what are your beliefs about weight loss?
Mm-hmm.
Or what are your beliefs about eating vegetables? A lot of people associate eating vegetables with pain or working out with suffering. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I have to get into that and fix it up. So yeah, that's kind of my approach.
Well, that's awesome. So, I mean, considering that you were pretty much locked in your house, uh, the can you work with anyone kind of anywhere in the world, or is there kind of like, what's how do you reach those people, or I guess, or how do you work with someone like I'm here in North Dakota? How would we work together? Something like this, or
So yeah, I have an app that I use, and it stores pretty much everything. Like the workouts. Once I get to know the person and I figure out, okay, how many days a week can they actually train? What kind of training do they like? Are there any injuries? What can't they do? All of these things I put them in, and then I create a program for them through this app. And the app has videos to show people, how to do the movements properly,
nice?
and it just goes. Maybe if they like hit workouts, then it has a timer for them. They don't have to keep track of anything. It just kind of does it for them. They can enter in the weights that they use per exercise, and then I give them access to me 24/7. So they get my cell phone number. They can contact me about anything, and then I kind of let them know, like, this is the window I'm going to be responding to you in. You have access to me at all times. You can hit me up, whatever, right, via text.
Yeah.
Just don't abuse it, right? But
Yeah.
you can hit me up, and I'll respond, when I can. But yeah, so I use the app heavily. Nutrition is a big thing in the app as well. I teach them how to use these different tools like MyFitnessPal to track their stuff. And then once a week, we'll get on a call like this so I can see them. I can see, what's going on, because if you give people if you're too soft on them, or you give them a pass, man, 6 months will pass and you'll look at them and be like, you haven't lost anything, have you? Yeah, yeah, I really
I
done.
mean, I shaved.
So yeah, that's how the one-on-one coaching with me works. And then the program that I started when COVID hit and kind of shut everything down was a cleanse. It's a 10-day. I call it a vitality cleanse, and I did it initially. Of course, I did it myself first, and I had like 2 or 3 of my family members do it as well. And it's a 10-day process. The first 3 days of the cleanse, it's a juice and vegetable cleanse. So you can either go. I go and purchase at this local juicery that we have here, and so it's 3 days of juicing and water. And there's a water requirement where you wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you drink 20 to 40 ounces of water. Like, that's right when you wake up. And then every hour on the hour, you drink a minimum of 10 ounces. Okay. So, and those are required. So you're drinking the juice, drinking the water. After the 3 days pass, 7 days of fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, and the water requirement is still intact. Right.
Wow.
So that's the 10-day cleanse. And of course, they get support with me. I go live in the Facebook group every day, and we just talk about health. I just bring to people's attention their breathing, how breathing affects your brain, how breathing affects your heart, your lungs, all of these things. People just completely ignore it, right? They
Just
just
something you
think,
do.
yeah, it's just something you do, and they don't realize that rapid breathing elicits a response, and that response is stress. So if you're in a chronic state of stress because you're breathing too fast and you're going to work, you're already stressed, and it's just piling. So I kind of bring that to people's attention because it's all about the awareness, right? So we talk about hydration, we talk about sleep, we talk about breathing, we talk about what health means for you as an individual. So we go through those things, and that's kind of like the base level where people meet me at. That's kind of where they meet me at. And I've had some great success with that. But like I said, the ticket was so low, I couldn't, take it up to volume. So I got to figure that piece out, and that's where I'm gonna start my challenge, like Pedro was talking about at Funnel Hacking Live. So
Awesome. Yeah. No, I met him in the gym actually in the morning. And I mean, we just chatted and it was fun because, he helped one of the realtors who presented, who he helped her do 2 million and I think 6 million on a challenge.
wow.
Like he was her coach and she got her 2 Comma Club award because she went under him and learned how to do a challenge right. So
It's awesome, dude.
yeah. So, so you told us why you got the ClickFunnels and then why you actually showed up and spent the money on the ticket. So for people who don't know, ClickFunnels is a software tool that's online that allows kind of any of us who don't know coding, we can build websites, we can collect payments, we can put classes online. It's this really cool tool. And I'll throw links on there. If people want to just DM me and I can get that to you guys about that software. And anyways, it's their national conference where they celebrate those who achieved great success, meaning if they brought in over $1 million through their website, they get what's called the 2 Comma Club. But then there's the 10X Club for those who brought in 10 million, and then the C 100 million Club. So no one's cracked that billion yet, but so that's kind of how that works. And then the speakers are success coaches. There's people who are using ClickFunnels. Like the hub was a very interesting thing for me because I'm, building realtor in a box. And then it's like, well, but I actually know a lot about real estate investing. And I know these great people like you who doesn't want to lose some weight? I mean, there's so many different aspects of it. So it's like, there's more than that. So that's what the event was about. But then, of course, we finished off with Tony Robbins and, the roof blew off the place.
Yeah, I was gonna say he rocked the house, dude. I love that guy, man. He actually helped me. He kind of guided me to the cleanse because I've gone to his Unleash the Power Within events. I was actually supposed to go to one live in San Jose right when COVID hit, right before it was in March, right when they shut everything down. So I was able to do it virtually, which is nothing like seeing him in person. Now I'm seeing him in person, right? But yeah, one of the last days of his event is a Vitality Day, and he brings in all these different specialists, natural healers, and he talks about the electricity in the cells, and it's just mind blowing stuff that our traditional medicine just doesn't talk about because there's no profit in it, right?
Yep.
So yeah, so he talked about all that thing. He talked about cutting out, meats and milk and all of these different things that harm the body in extreme amounts. So he's kind of where I got the whole cleanse thing from, and then I found a guy named James Nestor, and he wrote a whole book on breathing and how we breathe in today's society is killing us. And I read all the science behind, how we develop small jaws and how our noses are smaller than they're supposed to be, and just all of this stuff. And I was just like, dude, what is going on? It was mind blowing, man. So I read about that. Then I found a book called, oh man, I'm gonna mess it up. Sean Stevenson wrote it, but it's called Sleep something. But it's a whole book on sleep, and I dove into that and started looking at articles and reading about the science behind the stuff. And so I put all of that into my cleanse, and that's
Wow.
hopefully I just want to get people to be aware, like I said, about how that even something like breathing, something that we don't even think about. The average person here in the developed world, we breathe anywhere from 18 to 20 times per minute. And originally we're supposed to breathe 6 to 8 times per minute.
Wow.
So when you take the time, I've sat and timed myself, and I took the slow, deep breaths, and I can just feel all the tension in my body just kind of melting. And I, started relaxing, and it's just mind blowing. Anyway, way off topic, but
No,
crazy stuff, man.
that's awesome. But I mean, it's cool because it's not just like, oh, I copied this guy over here and created a cleanse. You're like, you created this cleanse,
Yeah.
and you're bringing together all these things. So it comes together. So if someone's gonna like work with you, is it cleanse first, then work with you as a coach, or can they throw that in, or what's the order of those two?
So my value ladder is set up where it's cleanse, and that's kind of my low ticket. Then I have an offer where I use this app, the app I was talking about, where I post workouts regularly, 5 days a week, with like a nutrition program, and that's subscription based, and they can go month to month and just follow the workouts. And then I have where you work with me personally, one on one, and that's kind of where I am in my. That's the ascension that people go through. But I mean, if they just want to skip all of that and just work with me directly, that's always an option, of course. but yeah, I'm really trying to develop my messaging though, and my who. Like, who am I really trying to talk to? And the vast majority of my clients have been female. And so I'm trying to niche down though, like Pedro said, you want to niche so small that only you can fit in it. So because I'm interested in business, and I want to work with people who already have some level of motivation. It might not be with weight loss, but it might be in business, or they want to excel somewhere else in life, so they have some type of motivation. I want to work with those type of people. So yeah, it's a lot to go through, but I want to get it done.
Yeah, well, the beautiful thing is like you already have the pieces in place. I mean, I work with a coach, and his thing was like, well, what's the next step? And like, what's the big order? Like, he was working with Russell Brunson, and I think his top offer was like 20 grand or something, and he's like, oh, what's the next top? Like, what's the next one? He's like, So now he's thinking of, how do I create $100,000 offer? And we have, Myron Golden, $1 million offer. Pedro, I think his group's 100,000 a year. And it's interesting just kind of opening up your mind to the concept, and like, the people who are those who are looking for it and already succeeding, like they know that it's not, I give you $100 and I get $100 back.
Yeah.
They're like, no, like I give you $100, I'm getting 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 back of value. Like, can you really put a price tag on your health? I mean, at the end of the day, you get this one body. I mean,
yeah, and that's why I want to take my company to a place where people can understand, like, hey, your health affects every aspect of your life. It affects the performance at your job. It affects your relationship with your significant other, or your children, or your grandparents, or your parents, or it affects every aspect of it. So if you want to operate at a high level in your business, in your company, or wherever, you need to take care of yourself. So many people are worried about performing at a high level, yet they're 70 pounds overweight and haven't walked around the block in 16 years. So it's like, do you really want to be successful? Do you really want to operate at that high level, or is it just a cool thing to say, which it is? But
Yeah. Well, and that comes down to something that we've talked about. I'm a part of something called Master Networks. It's a nationwide networking group, so it's designed to help grow your business by giving you a bunch of non-competition people to network with. And we always, that subject comes up because it's like, are you busy or productive? And if you ever want to scale, you have to get away from you being busy and having production still happen, which is why I knew I had to go online, because I started getting real estate investors. They started believing me. I had my own properties, but then I started showing like, hey, if we offer this like this, we can get this return that's 5 times higher than if we just went to a bank. And oh, this is neat. I started believing in myself, getting rid of those fears and stories. But it was like once it starts to go, it's like, here we go.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Yeah, and I spoke with someone at Funnel Hacking Live. Someone in their group had just walked the stage and got a 2 Comma Club award, and I was talking with this lady, and I was telling her, well, I'm debating on if I want to join this 2CC coaching program, and she said, if all this coaching program did was get you in to network with the type of people who are in this community, the cost would be worth it. And I was just like, you know what, you are so right.
Yeah.
Because Tony Robbins always says proximity is power, because you never know who you're going to run into, who is just going to blow your mind open or explode your business, or have that nugget to say that really motivates you. So it's super, super important, man. And I expect to do Russell's inner circle at some level, at some point in time, because the value that being around him can add is just astronomical. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, and luckily for me, my coach joined that, and I was able to watch him accelerate to where now he's like partnering up with some of these people, and it's like, like I was his second coaching client ever, and now it's worked, and he keeps meeting more of these people. So it's nice to have that, be able to learn from that. But it's also, you have to be real. You have to kind of accept that, like, I'm only going to get the results I've been getting if I stay the same. And it's no different, like you talked about when you're starting with someone, like what you think and what you're willing to put, like that's where you are, and that's why you have the results you have. If you want to change that, you have to, make that shift, like the one guy say, shift.
Shift.
But, you have to start changing those beliefs, and like get outside of that and get next to those people who are doing what you want to do, who have had the success. Because it's amazing how much easier it is once we've learned something to turn around and tell someone, like show them what we've done, versus like, here's a book and let me tell you what there's, like, that has no value. It's it's interesting, but it's not useful. You don't know the feelings. You haven't been there. So
yeah, so true, man. So true. Yeah, I'm gonna keep leveling up as much as possible, but that's kind of why I needed this structure, man, because all of the stuff I was doing, I read all of Russell's books. I read his books. I've been in funnel hacking, the community, and I still wasn't going anywhere. And it was the large majority of it was because of my beliefs, because I didn't feel like I was smart enough. I didn't feel like I had the knowledge or the training to get people from, even though I've done it before. Right? I've helped people lose a tremendous amount of weight, but I still had that fear of like, oh, what if I'm not good enough? What if all of these just fake things that were just so real to me. But yeah, it's super important to have that mentor, and that's really cool that so now that you have your coach and he's plugged into the inner circle, you get direct access to the inner circle just through him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
What,
trust me, he and I talked even about this because I mean the whole building hack series. I mean, there's nothing to hide here. I'm looking for the people who want to grow, who want something different for their life, and it's like, well, let me know. Let's connect you. Let's see, because I have these connections across the country now. That it's like, let's learn together. Let's improve our life. And let's go somewhere. Because I mean, average is bleh.
yeah. It's like you would know. One of the things I like to say, like no one wakes up and rolls over and says, I want to be average today. No one has ever rolled out of bed and said that, right? It's always, I want extraordinary, I want better, I want more, and it's not so you can show people that. It's so you can have an extremely high quality of life for yourself and impact others, and that's why I want to do this thing, especially because real estate, I'd have every intention of getting back into real estate, man. Like I really enjoyed the process of flipping, just learning all of the stuff that I learned about houses and, how the markets fluctuate and all of this stuff. And I'm just like, dude, I want to get back to it. But that's part of the reason why I was stuck in where I was with my training business, because I was doing real estate on the side. I was, doing this, I was training over here, and there was no consistency in my approach. So I stopped everything, and I'm just like, look, this is what I'm going to grow. I'm going to get this 2 Comma Club award, and then I'm going to scale it to whatever I can, and and then eventually when I'm in a place where I've built the systems that sustain the business, and I'm a business owner and not an operator, I can diving into other things. So.
Awesome. Well, I love those goals. That I think we're on the same track. I mean, it's great to be able to produce income with working and being the implementer, as Russell talked about day one. But it's like the reality is, if we want to make the biggest impact and help the most people, we have to have the systems working so that when they're ready to come talk to us one-on-one, or really get our direct time, it's coming at such a high value that we only have to work 5 days a week. Or sorry, like 2 days a week, 5 hours.
Yeah.
All right, I'm golfing the rest of the time. See you.
Yeah, and it's never going to seem like work. It's always just going to seem like it's fun. So some of the biggest nuggets, I know you mentioned that the 2 things that I probably took away the most was make more offers from Myron Golden.
Yeah.
Make more offers, even if the offer is not put together yet, make the offer and then see who responds, right? That's kind of like how, his approach is just make offers day in and day out, make offers. So that's something that I really kind of am sitting on. And then the second thing is just consistency. I just, just and focus too with that consistency, but show up every single day. Regardless of what's going on, make sure you show up. And all of the strategy, that was great, but I'm too early in the business to really be focusing on the strategy. I think more so I'm working on my mindset, getting out all the cobwebs, and kind of focusing up. But yeah, those are probably my 2 big takeaways.
That's awesome. Yeah, I am definitely a shiny object guy for sure. People are just like, you do so many things. It's like, well, I kind of have to, but I also know it's like I don't actually have to. I'm just that's a terrible excuse. But the focus thing, as far as Tony Robbins and even the other guys, like if you want to change your life, change your focus.
Yeah.
And Tony Robbins talking about like your energy and how you focus that. Yeah. Excuse me. But it's right on the same thing where it's like, so being aware of thoughts, being aware of what energies I'm letting, was huge. And then focus on something small, like not necessarily small, but just like, like, okay, if real estate for me is working great right now, like don't let it go because I want to start this other stuff. Like, no, I can actually have other people start that for me who are really good, let's say, at building these funnels out, and I can focus on the real estate, which is, my expertise and whatnot, and roll with it. Because I mean, the emotion thing and the gratitude stacking that Tony Robbins taught, like, that was huge for me. I loved that part. And then Myron Golden, it was tough not to, because he's so charismatic, but he just like, you're being dumb if you try to make this complicated. Sell more, sell only what they want, and go make a lot of money as fast as you can.
It always sounds so simple, right? It sounds so simple. The concepts are just a 2-year-old can understand it, but when you get into the weeds, and it's almost it's like that kind of like that thermometer. I don't remember who was talking about that, but your comfort zone, right?
Yep.
So when you start to maybe you're used to making 10 grand a month, but then you start making 20, 30, 50, you start to sabotage yourself, so you get back to your comfort zone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's something that I do often, like, man, and I just got to get out of my own way, dude. It's, focus and know what's real, know what's true, and stop, letting all of these false beliefs, stack against me. So, yeah, man, but it was a great time.
Yeah, well, if anyone's watching this, like, I would highly encourage you. I mean, to go to funnel hacking. Like, there's plenty of tickets. There's probably 3 or 4 or 5,000 that can attend. I already bought my ticket for next year.
Dude, I bought mine and my sister's. I said, you're going with me.
Nice.
Yeah, and for just for so I stayed off site. I stayed in an Airbnb. I do not recommend that. I recommend staying in the hotel wherever it is. It's going to be a little expensive, but it's so worth it, because with the people that I met there, I had some of them reach out to me like after the day at FHL ended, like, hey, we're at the bar, we're getting drinks, you want to come out? And I'm like, oh, I'm already at the Airbnb, man, I'm sorry, and just all of the, as I'm walking out to my Uber to go to my Airbnb, I see just clusters of people talking about business, and you miss out on those things. So I recommend spending the extra money to stay on site and build those relationships.
That is awesome. Well, thanks for the time, the advice, the inspiration, for the insight into what you're doing. Because, like I said, it was just with over 3,000 people there, we just kept kind of running into each other. And it's like, it's kind of crazy. Like, I'm not going to ignore it. What the universe is saying, check it out. Like, I'm going to listen. So,
no, man, no, yeah.
Well, good luck. I look forward to seeing your success with this. Can't wait to see how you do with the coaching. And I hope to have your funnel below this when you have something ready, or whatever you have ready, just so people can see. Because let's be real, if you have success as a weight loss coach and motivator, I'm going to throw in there, because, we can all just starve ourselves, or, watch a YouTube video, but when it's personalized and you're helping them and helping them do it correct, because I have hurt myself so many times in the weight room. So I think that's awesome skills. So real quick, if people do want to find you, all right, looks like getfitwithdub.com.
Yeah, so let me tell you a little story about. So Dub is what people call me. They call me Dub because I'm the second. My dad is a senior, and he calls me, because my name is Eric, he always called me E double, like, so people just started calling me Dub. So that's why it's Get Fit with Dub. My social media tags are iamericguy. So it's just, you find me. I'm mostly on TikTok and Instagram. And then this Get Fit with Dub link is going to get you into my Facebook group, where it's free. I'm not trying to sell you anything in the Facebook group. I'm just letting you know the truth about the fitness industry and how you can really take your mind and your body to the next level. So, and then from there, if you're interested in the cleanse, I can show you how to get there and all of those things. But you'll see me in there as well. So.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I'm excited to see your success and to hear that you're having it, but now you're ready to accelerate it.
Yes, sir.
So thanks again for your time. You got me excited about FHL all over again.
Thanks, man. Hey, this was awesome, man. I appreciate you reaching out to me, man. This is cool.
All right. Well, have yourself a good one. Enjoy the fact that you're not going to be under a foot of snow in the next 60 days. Okay, thanks again.
True that. All right, man. Have a good one, bro.